So a while ago I made a video on the game Mafia, and while I was researching for that video I came across the engine LS3D, which interestingly enough this game engine has been used for several other games, as they are. But something about it is both outdated yet good looking at the same time. It's been used for the good, the bad, and sometimes the ugly, but one game that stuck out to me was Chameleon, or Chameleon, whatever you pronounce it. The wiki I looked at only had one image and little information, however what they did have was valuable. Look at that streamlined UI, detailed environment. My god, it's even got original models and volumetrics. Anyway, the game was described as only being released in Russia, Poland, and the Czech Republic. Apparently it was published by Take-Two, you know, the same guys behind GTA and a ton of other releases. It's got a decent rating of about 75 to 78%, so how come there's so little info about it? Well, starting the game up, we get a very 2000s intro screen, non-skippable of course, before being greeted with the menu. Now I'll be honest with you, I wasn't expecting the menu to look this modern for a 2005 game. The game is split into about 17 chapters. I guess you could count about 3 of those as sub-chapters. Now the game starts off with a decently long cutscene, but there's honestly not much to say about it since the story is just meh. It's there if you want it, but it's really nothing to be in awe about. It's pretty much just a typical revenge flick. After all that, you get into the game. Now you start in Dublin, but your travels will take you to various locations all around the world. Anyway, while we're in Dublin, let's take a moment to talk about the game's scenery. Now, I dig the atmosphere of some of these levels, so it's a shame that a lot of the more scenic, picturesque locations are only really at the start or end of missions, since most of them take place indoors or in industrial, grimy locations like factories or train depots. The moments of quiet before the missions start are great, and I tried to soak in as much of the scenery as I could before starting them. Understandably, all the game's areas are more detailed than in Mafia or other open-world LS3D engine games. The use of invisible walls is a bit annoying, but not too much to complain about. Once you're done soaking in all that nice atmosphere, you can get on with the mission. The game has a lot of mechanics inspired by the likes of Hitman and stealth games, although there do come situations where stealth is optional, which is always a welcome addition in this channel hold. You can't pick up other people's guns from the ground unless it's a special case though, which is a shame, because when you do you get weapons, you usually have to select them at the mission start screen. So for the first few missions you're stuck with a microphone which lets you hear people from further away, and a door bug which lets you see behind doors without being spotted. Useful if you have the patience to scout for enemies and don't just quick save and kick down any door you see. Ah yes, I forgot to mention, this game also has quick saving, which was one of my biggest complaints in playing Mafia. It comes useful in a lot more than once. Like Hitman, the game also has mechanics where enemies will spot you from a certain distance, the bar on the bottom reading how far away they can spot you from. If they don't see you, they will probably find one of the bodies you forgot to hide, because yes, you have to do that too. Regarding enemy takedowns, you have the more aggressive shooty bang bang method, which is likely to draw attention, or the stealthy but more risky silent takedown, which takes longer and can fail half the time. Also, if you do incorrectly hide a body at the start of a mission, it can still be found when you're like midway in, so yeah, you know, keep that in mind. Most of the missions in the game boil down to finding information, go somewhere, do this, find more information, which then tells you about the next mission. My favourite parts, however, were the sub-missions, and no, I don't mean the one where you were literally inside a submarine. You see, a handful of the main missions have little sub-missions that occur. While the main ones will take you about 20 minutes, these actually don't take longer than 5 or 10 minutes. Well, depending on your skill level, of course. Some notable ones are the moving plane and train missions, which, considering what engine they were made on, are quite impressive. The same can be said for the plane mission, which has a timer on it, creating a feeling of urgency and adrenaline, which I think suits the game very well, until you get a game-breaking glitch that breaks your quick save, forcing you to start again from the last official save point. Yeah, turns out this game doesn't work with modern operating systems too good. I found this out the hard way, and then my cutscenes also refuse to play audio, so you get a whole load of this. Fun! It can also be quite confusing to navigate the more open levels, although if you do get spotted, you better hope it's only by a few people, because you have to pick them off before they sound the alert, which makes the whole map turn on you, essentially failing the mission. In fact, the game has quite a lot of attempts at innovative gameplay ideas, however some are pulled off better than others. All in all, though, it's a surprisingly high-quality product for what it is, and considering its history in terms of release. With a clear passion flare from its developers. It just sucks that the slightly repetitive and some more strong-mannered people might even say in some parts boring gameplay paired with the old school controls and game-breaking glitches. It seems a shame that this game wasn't really much of a cult classic like things such as Perfect Dark Zero, which came out the same year. And with various companies owning the rights to it closing shortly after, it seems unlikely we will ever get any more information about it. In conclusion, Chameleon sure had potential to be great, though where it shines, it really does shine for its age. And it's a shame that the flops were too much for it. Now, pretty much to be considered and abandonware. If you are into these kinds of games though, I think you might like it, since the campaign isn't that long, and it's at least an interesting relic of the indie side to Golden Age gaming. Thank you, and this will be me signing off.